Okay, so here we are, page 565. Again, he, that would be Sri Ramakrishna, became ecstatic and sang the Divine Mother. As he sang, Vijay suddenly stood up, crying the name of Hari. Sri Ramakrishna, full of divine love, began to dance with Vijay and the other devotees. The music was over. The master, Vijay, Narendra, and the other devotees sat down. All eyes were fixed on Sri Ramakrishna, who began conversing with the devotees. He asked about their health. Kedar spoke to him humbly, in a soft, sweet voice. Narendra, Chunilal, Ram, M, and Harish were sitting by the master. Kedar humbly, "How can I get rid of my dizziness?" Master tenderly, "One gets that. I've had it myself. Use a little almond oil. I've heard that it cures dizziness." Master tenderly, Kedar, "I shall, sir." Master to Chunilal, "Hello, how is everything?" Chunilal, "Everything is all right with us now. Balaram Babu and Rakhal are well at Vrindavan." Master, "Why have you sent so many sweetmeats?" To Harish, "Wait a day or two before coming to Dakshineshwar. You are not well." Okay, hold on. You may fall ill again." To Narayan, tenderly, "Sit here, sit by me. Come to Dakshineshwar tomorrow and have your meal here. Have your meal there." Pointing to M, "Come with him." To M, "What do you say?" M wanted to accompany Sri Ramakrishna to Dakshineshwar that very day. He became thoughtful. Surrender stood near Sri Ramakrishna. He was in the habit of drinking and often went to excess. This had worried the master greatly, but he had not asked Surrender to give up drinking altogether. He had said to him, "Look here, Surrendra, whenever you drink wine, offer it beforehand to the Divine Mother. See that your brain doesn't become clouded and that you don't reel. The more you think of the Divine Mother, the less you will like to drink. The Mother is the giver of bliss, of divine inebriation. Realizing her, one feels a natural bliss." The master looked at Surrender and said, "You have had a drink." With these words, he went into samadhi. It was dusk. Regaining partial consciousness, the master sang, "Behold my mother playing with Shiva, lost in an ecstasy of joy. Drunk with a draught of celestial wine, she reels, and yet she does not fall." Then he chanted the name of Hari, clapping his hands occasionally. In a sweet voice he said, "Hari, Hari. O mind, chant the name of Hari. Sing the name of Hari." Then he chanted Rama, 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 Rama. Actually, 2 or 3 days ago, it was Ram Navami, Rama's birthday. Tuesday is Hanuman Jayanti, which means Hanuman's birthday. Now the master began to pray, "O Rama, O Rama. I'm without devotion and austerity. I'm without knowledge and love. I have not performed any religious rites, O Rama. I've taken refuge in thee. I've taken shelter at thy feet. I do not want creature comforts. I do not seek name and fame. O Rama, I do not crave the 8 occult powers. I do not care for 100 occult powers. I'm thy servant. I've taken refuge in thee. Grant, O Rama, that I have pure love for thy lotus feet, that I may not be deluded by the world-bewitching Maya. O Rama, I've taken refuge in thee." And you notice when Sri Ramakrishna says this, he's teaching us all how to pray sincerely. He's doing this both for himself and for us. He's teaching us how to pray. Sri Ramakrishna doesn't need to he doesn't need to pray not to be deluded by world-bewitching Maya. He's teaching us how to pray like a child. As the master prayed, all eyes were turned toward him, hearing his piteous voices. Few could restrain their tears. Ramchandra Datta came in and stood near him. "Master, where have you been, Ram?" "Master, I was upstairs, sir." Ram had been making arrangements for feeding the devotees on the roof of the house. Master, to Ram with a smile, "Isn't it better to stay down below than to be high up? Water accumulates in a low land, but flows down from a high mound." Well, again, he's talking here about the problem with ego, that humility is a great asset in spiritual life, and egotism and arrogance is a great pitfall. Ram with a smile, "That is true, sir." Supper was ready on the roof. Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees were taken there and sumptuously fed. Later, the master went to Adhar's house with M, Niranjan, and others. The Divine Mother was being worshipped there. It had been Adhar's earnest prayer that on this sacred day, Ramakrishna might bless his house with his presence. And then we move on to the next day, Monday, September 29th, 1884. But meanwhile, was there anything in that little short discussion that we had, that little short passage, that anyone wants to talk about? Any questions? Okay, then we'll move on. It was the third day of the Durga Puja. The master had been awake in his room at the Dakshineshwar temple, at Dakshineshwar, since early morning. The morning worship in the Kali temple was over, and the orchestra had played the morning melodies in the Nahabat. Brahmins and gardeners, basket in hand, were plucking flowers for the worship of the Divine Mother. Bhavanat, Baburam, Niranjan, and M had spent the night at Dakshineshwar, sleeping on the porch in the master's room. As soon as they awoke, they saw Sri Ramakrishna dancing in an ecstatic mood. He was chanting, "Victory to Mother Durga, hallowed be the name of Durga," basically, "Joy Durga, Joy Durga, Joy Durga." He was naked and looked like a child as he chanted the name of the blissful mother. After a few moments, he said, "Oh, the bliss of divine ecstasy. Oh, the bliss of divine drunkenness." Then he repeatedly chanted the name of Govinda. "Oh, Govinda, my life, my soul." The devotees sat on their beds with unwinking eyes and watched Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual mood. Hazra was living in the temple garden. Latu was also living there to render the master personal service. Rakhal was still at Vrindavan. Narendra visited Sri Ramakrishna now and then. He was expected that day. The devotees washed their faces. The master took his seat on a mat on the north veranda. Bhavanat and M sat beside him. Other devotees were coming in and out of the room. Master to Bhavanat: "The truth is that ordinary men cannot easily have faith. But an Ishwara Kodi's faith is spontaneous. Prahlada burst into tears while writing the letter Ka. Okay, and that is the first letter it's the first consonant of the Sanskrit alphabet. Because Ka reminded him of Krishna. It is the nature of jivas to doubt. That's jivas being us, ordinary souls. They say yes, no doubt, but Hasra can never be persuaded to believe that Brahman and Shakti, that is, Shakti and the being endowed with Shakti, are one and the same. When the reality appears as creator, preserver, and destroyer, we call it Shakti. When it is inactive, we call it Brahman. But it is one and the same thing. When it's inactive, we call it Brahman, but it's the one and the same thing, indivisible. Fire naturally brings to mind the power to burn, and the idea of burning naturally brings to mind the idea of fire. It is impossible to think of one without the other. So I prayed to the Divine Mother, "Oh, Mother, Hazra's trying to upset the views of this place." And when Sri Ramakrishna talks about this place, he's talking about himself. Either give him right understanding or take him from here. The next day, he came to me and said, "Yes, I agree with you." He said that God exists everywhere as the all-pervading consciousness. Bhavanat, smiling: Did what Hazra said really make you suffer so much? Master, you see, now I'm in a different mood. I can't shout and carry on heated discussions with people. I'm not in a mood now to argue and quarrel with Hazra. Tridoy said to me at Judd and Malik's garden house, "Uncle, don't you want to keep me with you?" "No," I said. "I'm no longer in a mood to get into heated arguments with you." What is knowledge and what is ignorance? A man is ignorant so long as he feels that God is far away. He has knowledge when he knows that God is here and everywhere. When a man has true knowledge, he feels that everything is filled with consciousness. At Kamarpukur, I used to talk to Shibu, and that's Sri Ramakrishna's nephew, who was then a lad of 4 or 5 years old. When the clouds rumbled and the lightning flashed, Shibu would say to me, "There, Uncle, they're striking matches again." I'll laugh. One day I noticed him chasing grasshoppers by himself. The leaves rustled in the nearby trees. "Hush, hush," he said to the leaves. "I want to catch the grasshoppers." He was a child and saw everything throbbing with consciousness. One cannot realize God without the faith that knows no guile, the simple faith of a child. Ah, what a state I passed through. One day something bit me while I was sitting in the grass. I was afraid it might have been a snake, and I didn't know what to do. I heard that if a snake bites you and bites you immediately after the first bite, it takes back its own venom. At once I set out to discover the hole so I might let the snake bite me again. While I was searching, a man said to me, "What are you doing?" After listening to my story, he said, "But the snake must bite in the very same place it has bitten before." Therefore I went away. Perhaps I've been bitten by a scorpion or some other insect. I heard from Ramlal that the autumn chill was good for one's health. Ramlal had quoted a verse to support it. One day I was returning from Kolkata in a carriage. I stuck out my head out of the window so that I might get that chill. Then I fell ill. All laugh. Ramakrishna entered his room and he sat down. His legs were a little swollen. He asked the devotees to feel his legs and see whether or not the pressure of their fingers made dimples. Dimples did appear with the pressure, but the devotees said that it was nothing. Master de Bhavanat, please ask Mahendra of Sinti to see me. I shall feel better if he reassures me. Bhavanat with a smile, you have great faith in medicine, but we haven't so much. Master, it is God who as the doctor prescribes the medicine. It is he who in one form has become the physician. Dr. Ganga Prasad asked me not to drink water at night. I regarded his statement as the word of the Vedas. I look upon him as the physician of heaven. Hazra entered the room and sat down. The master talked a while about different things, and then said to Hazra, you see, many people were at Ram's house yesterday. Vijay, Kedar, and others were there. But why did I feel so deeply stirred at the sight of Narendra? I found that Kedar belonged to the realm of divine inebriation. Presently Narendra arrived, and Sri Ramakrishna was exceedingly happy. Narendra saluted the master and began to talk with Bhavanat and others in the room, and was seated nearby. A long mat was spread on the floor. While talking, Narendra lay on it flat on his stomach. The master looked at him and suddenly went into samadhi. He sat on Narendra's back in an ecstatic mood. Bhavanat sang, O mother, ever blissful as thou art, do not deprive thy worthless child of bliss. Sri Ramakrishna came down from the plane of samadhi. He sang, repeat, O my mother Durga's hallowed name. O Gauri, O Narayani, to thee I bow. Thou art the day, O mother, thou art dusk in the night. As Rama thou drawest the bow, as Krishna thou playest the flute, as Kali all terrible. Thou silent Shiva thy Lord, the 10 embodiments of the divine Shakti art thou, and thou the 10 avatars. This time save me thou must. With flowers and vilva leaves did Yashoda worship thee, and thou did bless her by placing Krishna, the child, in her arms. Wherever I chance to live, O mother, in forest or in grove, may my mind day and night dwell at thy lotus feet. Whether at last I die a natural or a sudden death, oh, may my tongue repeat Durga's name at the end. Thou mayest send me away, O mother, but where shall I go? Tell me, O mother, where else shall I hear a name so sweet? Thou mayest even say to me, step aside, go away. Yet I shall cling to thee, O Durga, unto thy feet, as thine anklets I shall cling, making their tinkling sound. Then I shall cry from thy feet, victory to Shiva. Mother, when as the kite thou soarest in the sky, there in the water beneath, as a minnow I shall be swimming. Upon me you will pounce and pierce me through and through with thy claws. Thus when the breath of life forsakes me in thy grip, do not deny me the shelter of thy lotus feet. From the world's bondage, free me, O spouse of the Absolute. Your 2 feet are my boat to cross the world's dark sea. You are the heaven and the earth. You are the netherworld. From you have the 12 Gopalas and Hari and Brahma sprung. Whoever treads this path repeating Durga, Durga, Shiva himself protects with his mighty trident. Asura was sitting on the northeast veranda counting the beads of his rosary. The master went and sat in front of him, taking the rosary in his own hands. Master Hazra, you see, I cannot use the rosary. No, perhaps I can. Yes, I can with my left hand. And of course, the left hand is considered impure. You wouldn't use the rosary with your left hand. You'd always use your right. But I cannot repeat the name of God with it. With these words, Sri Ramakrishna tried to perform a little japa, but hardly had begun when he went into samadhi. He sat in that state a long time, still holding the rosary in his hand. The devotees looked at him with wonder in their eyes. Hazra also watched the master without uttering a word. After a long time, Sri Ramakrishna regained consciousness of the outer world and said that he was hungry. He often said such things to bring his mind down to a normal plane. M was going to bring something for him to eat. The master said, "No, I shall first go to the Kali temple." He went across the cement courtyard toward the Kali temple, and on the way he bowed with folded hands to the 12 Shiva temples. On the left was the temple of Radhakanta. He went there first and bowed before the image. Then he entered the Kali temple and saluted the mother. Sitting on a carpet, he offered flowers at the mother's holy feet. He also placed a flower on his own head. When returning for the temple, he asked Bhavanat to bring a green coconut offered at the temple and the Charnamrita. Coming back to his room, accompanied by M and Bhavanat, he saluted Hazra, who cried out in dismay, "What are you doing, sir? What is this?" The master said, Why should you say it is wrong? Hazra often argued with the master, declaring that God dwelt in all beings and that everybody could attain Brahmajnana through sadhana. He had an exaggerated idea of his own spiritual progress. It was about noon. The gong and the bells announced the worship and was offering in the various temples. The Brahmins, the Vaishnavas, and the beggars were also to partake of the sacred offerings. He asked them to go to the guest house. To Narendra he said, "Won't you take your meal in my room?" "All right, Narendra and I will eat here." Bhavanat, Babaram, M, and other devotees went to the guest house. After his meal, Sri Ramakrishna rested a few minutes. The devotees were on the veranda, engaged in light conversation. He soon joined them and was happy in their company. It was about 2:00. All were still sitting on the veranda when suddenly Bhavanat appeared in the garb of a brahmachari, dressed in an ochre cloth, kamandalu in hand, his face beaming with smiles. Master with a smile, "That is his inner feeling. Therefore, he has dressed himself as a brahmachari." Narendra, "He has put on the garb of a brahmachari. Let him put on the garb of a tantric worshipper." Hazra, "Then you will have to follow the tantric rituals with women, wine, and so on." Sri Ramakrishna did not encourage the conversation. Indeed, he made fun of it. Suddenly, the master began to dance in an ecstatic mood. He sang, "Mother, you cannot trick me anymore, for I have seen thy crimson lotus feet." The master said, "Ah, how wonderfully Raj Narayan sings about the Divine Mother. He sings and dances that way. The music of Nakuracharya at Kamarpukur is also wonderful. How beautiful his singing and dancing are." A sadhu was staying at the Panchavati, but he was a hot-tempered man. He scolded and cursed everybody. He came to the master's room wearing wooden sandals and asked the master, "Can I get fire here?" Sri Ramakrishna saluted him and stood with folded hands as long as he remained in the room. When he left, Bhavanat said to the master with a laugh, "What great respect you showed the sadhu." Master smiling, "You see, he too is Narayana, though full of tamas. This is the way one should please people who have an excess of tamas. Besides, he is a sadhu." The devotees were engaged in a game of golakdam. Okay, and that is a game in which the player tries to get to heaven by passing through different planes, but at each false step he falls into a particular hell. Okay, so that's golakdam. Hazra joined in them. The master stood by watching them play. M and Kishori reached heaven. Sri Ramakrishna bowed before them and said, "Blessed are you, two brothers." He said to M aside, "Don't play anymore." Hazra fell into hell. The master said, "What's the matter with Hazra? Again?" No sooner had Hazra got out of hell than he fell into it again. All burst into laughter. Latu, at the first throw of the dice, went to heaven from earth. He began to cut capers of joy. "See Latu's joy," said the master. "He would have been terribly sad if he hadn't achieved this." Aside to the devotees, "This too is a meaning. Hazra is so vain that he thinks he will triumph over all even in this game. This is the law of God, that he never humiliates a righteous person. Such a man is victorious everywhere. You see, even in this sort of trifling game, Ramakrishna makes the point of see how this works. See how the universe really works. Even in this small thing of a game, which is a metaphor that has a great meaning. Ramakrishna was sitting on a small couch in his room. Narendra, Bhabaram, Bhavanat, and M were sitting on the floor. Narendra referred to various religious sects, the Goshpara, Panchanami, and others. Ramakrishna described their views and condemned their immoral practices. He said that he could not follow the right course of spiritual discipline, but Ramakrishna described. He said, okay, these are the Goshpara, the Panchanami, and others. Ramakrishna described their views and condemned their immoral practices. He said that they could not follow the right course of spiritual discipline, but enjoyed sensuous pleasures in the name of religion. Master Narendra, you need not listen to these things. The Bhairavas and Bhairavis of the Tantric sect also follow this kind of discipline. While in Benares, I was taken to one of their mystic circles. Each Bhairava had a Bhairavi with him. I was asked to drink the consecrated wine, but I said I couldn't touch wine. They drank it. I thought perhaps they would then practice meditation and japa, but nothing of the sort. They began to dance. I was afraid they might fall into the Ganges. The circle had been made on its bank. It is very honorable for husband and wife to assume the role of Bhairavi and Bhairava. To Narendra and the others, let me tell you this. I regard women as my mother. I regard myself as her son. This is a very pure attitude. There is no danger in it. To look upon woman as a sister is also not bad, but to assume the attitude of a hero, to look upon woman as one's mistress, is the most difficult discipline. Tarak's father followed this discipline. It's very difficult. In this form of sadhana, one cannot always maintain the right attitude. There are various paths to reach God. Each view is a path. It is like reaching the Kali temple by different roads. But it must be said that some paths are clean and some are dirty. It is good to travel on a clean path. Many views, many paths. This is a very famous saying of Ramakrishna, Yatamat Tatapat in Bengali. It's quoted quite often. Many views, many paths. Yatamat Tatapat. And I've seen them all. But I don't enjoy them anymore. They all quarrel. No one else is here. You are my own people. Let me tell you something. I've come to the final realization that God is the whole and I'm a part of him. That God is the master and I'm his servant. Furthermore, I think every now and then that he is I and I am he. The devotees listened to these words in deep silence. Bhavanat humbly, I feel disturbed if I have a misunderstanding with someone. I feel that in that case I'm not able to love all. Master, try at the outset to talk to him and establish a friendly relationship with him. If you fail in your efforts, then don't give it another thought. Take refuge in God. Meditate on him. There is no use in giving up God and feeling depressed from thinking about others. Bhavanat, great souls such as Christ and Chaitanya have admonished us to love all beings. Master, love you must, because God dwells in all beings. But salute a wicked person from a distance. You speak of Chaitanya? He used to restrain his spiritual feeling in the presence of unsympathetic people. At Srivasa's house, he put Srivasa's mother-in-law out of the room, dragging her out by the hair. Bhavanat. But it was not he, but others who did it. Master, could the others have done it without his approval? What can be done? Suppose a man cannot make another man love him. Must he worry about it day and night? Must I waste my mind, which should be given to God, on useless things? I say, oh, Mother, I don't want Narendra, Bhavanat, Rakal, or anybody. I seek thee alone. What shall I do with man? When the blissful mother comes, this is a song, when the blissful mother comes to my house, how much of the Chandi I shall hear, how many monks will come here, and how many yogis with matted locks. When I attain God, I shall attain everything. I renounced gold and silver, saying, rupee is clay, and clay is rupee. Gold is clay, and clay is gold. With these words, I threw gold, silver, and clay into the Ganges. Then I was afraid of the thought that Mother Lakshmi might be angry at me because I had treated her wealth with contempt, that she might even stop my meals. So I prayed to the Divine Mother, "O Mother, I want thee and nothing else." I knew that by realizing her, I should get everything. Bhavanat, smiling. "This is the crude calculation of a businessman." Master, smiling. "Yes, that's so. Once the Lord was pleased with a certain devotee. He appeared before him and said, "I am very much pleased with your austerities. Ask a boon of me." The devotee said, "O Lord, if you are gracious enough to give me a boon, then please grant that I may eat from gold plates with my grandchildren." One boon covered many things: wealth, children, and grandchildren. All laugh. And I think that is a good place to stop, because the next word is Hazra, sitting on the veranda. Okay, so here we are. Are there any discussions, any questions, any comments on anything? It's interesting because Sri Ramakrishna was talking about having the simple faith of a child, that we can't realize God without the simple faith of a child. And then when he's praying to Mother, he shows us exactly what kind of that simple faith that is. And again, when he talks about what people want, it's like, no, I just want you alone, Mother. I just want you. If people don't love me, fine. I just want you, Mother. Just want you.
I'm always so just, I guess not shocked, but so pleased with how practical the advice is. Like tonight's advice to Bhavanath was really something.
Yeah, it
the
was
saluting
really good.
the wicked from a distance. Not letting it occupy your mind. Like, that's such a simple thing, but you don't think about it when you're all embroiled in your thoughts and stuff.
Such a good point, Gunga. It's true, because it's like if you get into a thing with a person, it's like you want to resolve it. It makes you feel bad. And then sometimes it can't be, you do what you can. And after a while, it's like, okay, I leave it at Mother's feet. And Mother, you're the only one who can take care of this, because my mind has to be with Mother, and I can't fix something that doesn't seem to be fixable right now. So rather than being like preoccupied, just leave it with that. John, is that a comment?
Yeah, it reminds me of Rabbi Cohen. You try 3 times to make it right. After that, you're done.
I'm sorry, who was the person?
Rabbi Cohen.
Oh, Rabbi Cohen, yeah. Yeah, you try to do that, and then after a while, you do that, and like, okay, I'm leaving the Divine Mother, and my mind goes to the Divine Mother. Because some things, you don't know what's in that person's mind, you can't worry about it at a certain point. You do what you can, and then leave it. Leave it. Okay, well, we have a few announcements. Tomorrow, the talk will be jumping into spiritual life. And then next Wednesday, we'll have a reading of Swami Akhandananda. Krishna Prana will do it. Is that going to be the last reading, do you think, on that subject?
I'm not sure. It says the president. It's near the end. She said, I think we'll finish the month.
Okay, so this is close to the end, but it may actually not be the end. And then on next Saturday will be we'll have a Gita class, won't we? Yes, we'll have a Gita class with Swami Sarvadevananda. We were concerned because this, for members of the Vedanta Society, is the same day as our general meeting, but Swami Sarvadevananda will be able to do it from here via Zoom. So any members of the Vedanta Society, I'm seeing 2 directly in front, maybe 3 directly, maybe 4 directly in front of me. Yes, please attend our general meeting, because we do need a quorum to have this meeting. And let's see, and I think that is it. So I will conclude with a chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Glad to see you all here. Glad you can attend. It's always great to see y'all. And Jaima, and see you later.
Amen.